What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And this is the second look at The Matrix Resurrections. That means that I've seen this film twice. You're welcome. Anyway, so this film, definitely people have some thoughts on this film. That can definitely be said online that people have thoughts. I'm surprised this film has like a 60 something Metacritic score. That really surprised me. IMDb, like the 5 point something divisive, that feels like fine because you're gonna have the fans who are gonna be like hardcore into this and they're gonna, no, it's great. And they're gonna keep pulling it up. I'm sure there are a whole bunch of like tens of people like trying to be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And then there are people who are like, no, it's the worst. It's like 1. So 5 feels like it's, the give and take of being in the middle. But is it really that bad? There's some things that I've learned, too, in the past. But this does have audio description. This also has audio description that was actually nominated for excellence in audio description. There are audio description awards. And I do remember this was one of the films that was nominated that year, eligible for audio description excellence. Okay. Is it? I've heard some really, truly amazing tracks over the years. And this one battles a lot of everything. It has, it has the same thing that the first 3 films had, which is Agent Smith suddenly just jumping into somebody's body, and then you have to suddenly identify somebody as Smith. It has this thing where they just keep not wanting to call Trinity, but call her Tiffany, and they also say that she bears a striking resemblance to, but it's the same actress. So I kind of have like a little bit of a problem with that. But because she doesn't just bear a striking resemblance to, she actually is played by the actress of. It's not like what they did with Yahya Abdul-Mateen where he's Morpheus now and not Lawrence Fishburne. It's still Carrie Ann Moss. So I would say she bears more than a striking resemblance to Trinity. So I don't know that I would give this the A+, awesome. Yeah, this is the absolute best audio description of the year, but I think it's really good audio description because of the way that the action sequences are shot and the playing around with bullet time. They kind of openly play around with it, jokingly style. It's like, I don't know what Lana was going through when she wrote this, but I'm amazed the studio passed this on. And I was like, yeah, we should make this into a film. This script reads great. No problems. We have no problems here. It's a weird film. It's a film that feels exactly like what it is, which is Lana Wachowski seems like she was forced to do a Matrix sequel, and the studio told her if she didn't do it, that somebody else would, so she did one, and then she literally wrote that into the film and made that part of the film, and directly addresses it by directly putting Warner Brothers in the movie, and directly addressing that as a major plot point of the movie. This film, I don't think the first time that I noticed it, did I notice that it was not the Wachowskis. It was just Lana Wachowski. Lily Wachowski did not participate in this film. So this is not a Wachowski's film. This is just Lana Wachowski. And Lily has been out of Hollywood since 2016 for various reasons, depending on which website you click on. But seems like taking death of parents was a reason that I read. Taking that really hard was a reason that I read. So we'll go with that. But so it was just Lana, and Lana was forced to do this by herself, and when you don't have when your whole career is based off of being able to bounce things off of your sibling, and they're not there. We're seeing this now with the Coen brothers. Arguably, I don't care how much you like, uh, you know, either one of the Coen in their uh, singular works of um, Drive Away Dolls and The Tragedy of Macbeth, but they're not the Coens' best things. When they work together, they have better films. So there's something to be said for that when they bounce things off of each other. I would also argue the same thing is true about the Farrelly brothers. Even though, yes, one of them made Green Book, I still think that there's a better Farrelly movie out there. So, sometimes when you have that, when you're so used to having a sounding board and that sounding board isn't there for you anymore, then this is what happens. So, we get the Matrix Resurrections. So Keanu and Carrie are back. Also Jada as Niobe, and really nobody else. That's it. It's just like that's where we drew the line at returning cast members. So Yahya Abdul-Mateen is the new Morpheus, and so Lawrence Fishburne didn't turn this down. He was never offered the part. From what I read from extremely nerdy culture, is that the reason why Morpheus is not in this film, the old school Morpheus, is because Morpheus died in the Matrix Online, the video game, and the video game is considered canon. So we couldn't invite Lawrence. How many people played that? Like, let's be honest here. How many people played the Matrix Online? I'm hoping that they're referring to the MMO that I referred to in another video, because I did play that, and I can tell you, on day one, no one. I remember loading into worlds, and there would be like one other guy, and be like, "Hey, we both bought this game." It's really sad. It was a really terrible launch. So if that's the game they're referring to, and not like the PlayStation game, which I also remember, which I think was Nairobi's character was the character that you played as. Anyway, but what a stupid reason. what a dumb reason. Because of the comic book that we have that 5 people read. Didn't you read the comic book that we released in 2010? It's just like, come on now. No. So it's Yahya Abdul-Mateen, which feels weird, because it feels like he's trying to do a Morpheus impression. It feels like he's trying to do a Lawrence Fishburne impression the whole time, and it's not quite Yahya Abdul-Mateen, so he kind of always just feels out of place. What I do really like is that they've created a character out of nowhere, and I love Jessica Henwick as Bug. Yes, I use the word love. I love Jessica Henwick as Bug. I think Bug is an interesting and a sort of energetic, just brand new character to introduce to this franchise, perfectly into a film that needed it, into a film that needed a character with no reference to anything, that didn't come from anything, that isn't a version of somebody else, that is just a character that is grown up in the shadow of Neo, that has grown up knowing about Neo, knowing the whole thing, is outside of the Matrix and is trying to do her thing. I was actually, the second time around, more captivated in Bug's story than I was in anything else, because I was like, damn, this is a really good character. The rest of it is just kind of like people trying to do their old thing, and is Trinity gonna be Trinity again? I don't know. Carrie Ann Moss is getting up there in age. Can she still kick ass? Or, they're trying to limit the amount of time that she has to believably look like she can kick ass, because I'm sure shooting that was a pain, because I don't think she's kept up with her trainers like Keanu has. See, Keanu has had to make all the John Wick films, so he can handle a combat sequence. I don't know that she can, because she hasn't really been given a reason to since leaving the Matrix franchise. So this is just it's an oddly disappointing film full of questions. full of, actually, it's an oddly disappointing film full of interesting objects, like little things that are interesting, like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that, you know. This is one of those rare films that I would actually enjoy listening to the director's commentary. I would actually really love to enjoy listening to Lana. I don't want to buy the film to get a director's commentary. That's the problem. But I wouldn't mind if somebody else was like, "Hey, I own The Matrix Resurrections on Blu-ray. Do you want to do you want to listen to direct?" I'd be like, "Wow, yes, I do." I mean, I know it means that I can't listen to it with audio description because those two things never happen at the same time. But I would be so interested to hear some of Lana's thoughts on exactly why she did what she did in so many of the scenes, because they're so weird. The casting here is so weird. Jonathan Groff as Agent Smith versus Hugo Weaving. I gotta say, I love Jonathan Groff. I love me some Jonathan Groff. You know, we are the guilty ones. You know, let's get all that Spring Awakening love out there into the world. And certainly he was somebody who could never have been cast the first time around based on timeline of things. So he wasn't eligible, even if they were obsessed with him and wanted him in the original film. He's somebody who came along after, so he's not right for this. He's not a believable Agent Smith. He's not really that bad of a guy. He's too likable. So is Neil Patrick Harris. They're so weird casting. I mean, like, yeah, a great pro LGBT casting to put Neil Patrick Harris in that role, but it feels weird. I mean, I guess it throws you off because you don't actually think that role's going to turn into something, and then it does, and then you're like, but when it does, I need Neil to go there, and like Neil's just not ready to go there. He's just, you know. And it's the same thing with Jonathan. It's like neither one of them are ready to go there. And I feel like there's so many character actors, sort of Hugo Weaving's ilk, that have come along over the years that could have stepped into this film and been really interesting, and given a performance, given an action, given a character or something that would have really sort of felt right for this film, especially for Jonathan Groff's character, especially for somebody like him, like a Mark Strong or somebody like that, who also would not have been somebody that you would have naturally picked back in like 2003, even if you were trying to add him into the sequels. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel right. There were a bunch of other characters, but that's the same thing with the Matrix sequels, is that they introduce a bunch of characters you don't care about. It's amazing that I remember Niobe at all. But yeah, there's, I don't know, some other people in here that come in and out of these scenes, and I'm just like, I don't care. I don't know. Christina Ricci's in this. I looked at her character and her character name, and I was like, where was her character in this? Like, I couldn't even remember it because there were so many like new characters being thrown at me. This is the second time I've seen the film, and I was like, who is Christina Ricci playing? I love Christina Ricci, so I just damn. Anyway, it's just, this is kind of messy. But what I like about it is there are parts of it that challenge, and there are parts of it that are making choices. And the third film, I feel like, kind of gave up. And it's just this dark film, and they just, like, they spent all their budget on Reloaded. Going from Reloaded to Revolutions is just like, yeah, it's like going through depression. You know, it's just like, the first film was like action packed, and then you're like, ugh, what is this? What are you making me sit through? So I still dislike Revolutions more, but I think that there are things in here that are worse than things that are in Revolutions. But I think there are also things in here that are better choices than Revolutions. I think there are things here that are more interesting. There are things in here that are brighter. There are things in here that are flashier, and feel more like we are trying to breathe life back into something. Like we are trying to revive something, whereas Matrix Revolutions just feels like a long walk to death. Uh, I don't know. Some cool sequences in there, I guess, and some, but just whatever. They kind of come out being about the same in terms of grade. Obviously, if I was doing like numbers, like some critics do, I would be able to like really break it down and do. But yeah, I do letter grades, like teachers. So, I mean, I might put this like slightly above Revolutions, in so much as giving like Revolutions like a 71 and then give this a 72. Just to like indicate that one is, I think, maybe slightly more enjoyable. But it has a lot of problems with a bunch of things. And I think it misses the fact that Lily's not in it, not involved. I don't really know what the push was to do a Matrix 4 at this specific time. So my question would have been, if we had waited, would we have gotten Lily? Would we have gotten a better script? Is there any way Lily could have at least been involved in the writing process? So that way, the ability to bounce the ideas off of somebody, Lily wouldn't even had to set foot on set, you don't have to go to set, just help with the script. Because I feel like once you get the script going, then the direction is, you're just directing what's on the page, and if at least what on the page is strong, then you're good. But oftentimes when people are given the opportunity to direct their own scripts, it's like nobody's given them any sort of like feedback to filter their own thoughts. So they're just, if their thought was bad, there's nobody to catch it. They're just putting their own bad thoughts out there into the world, and nobody's stopping them. So somebody needed to come along and say, hey, this isn't great. And that didn't happen here. But I also don't think that this is like the end of society, although I've seen some really funny YouTube videos from some people who do. And I validate all of them, because when they point this stuff out, it's really funny. And I just have different feelings about some of the things. Like, I think Keanu's fine here. I think Carrie showed up, but they're like, we just want you to be Tiffany. And she's like, can I kick someone in the face? They're like, I don't know, can you? We'll wait and find out. So I think Yahya Abdul-Mateen is being given weird direction. So yeah, just choices. So I'm gonna give, after the second time through of this, I will give The Matrix Resurrections a C-. Same grade I gave Revolutions, technically. This film does not need more sequels, so I don't think we're gonna get them, because this film did not do well at the box office. So I think Warner Brothers is like, the next time we see The Matrix, it'll be rebooted with brand new actors. Like, total, 10, 15, 20 years from now, they'll just make a new Matrix with, I don't know, someone who's not in this film. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.